Hey, I'm John Cannell, and today on Preppy Kitchen we're making a show-stopping, delicious blueberry pie. So let's get started. First off, set your oven to 425 so it's nice and hot. Now grab 2 discs of pastry dough. I whipped up a batch of my perfect butter crust recipe, which is linked in the description box below. Let it chill, then I let it warm up on the counter until it's a little pliable, and now we're gonna pop this onto a well-floured surface and roll it out into a 13-inch circle. This is one of the 2 main components of your pie, so you really wanna have a beautiful butter crust. It's gonna be golden brown, super flaky, full of flavor, and no preservatives. It's really easy to make too. As you work, make sure your countertop is well floured and keep your pie crust moving. If it stays, it'll stick. And if it sticks, you'll be sad. If lots of cracks are developing, your pie crust is probably too cold still. Just let it hang out on the countertop for a few minutes until it's a bit warmer. Just a bit over 13 inches later, I'm gonna wrap this onto my rolling pin really carefully, grab my 9-inch pie dish, and transfer it over. By the way, different pie dishes will affect your bake time. Metal pie dishes tend to kind of amplify the heat and cook more quickly. A ceramic or glass one will make you add a few more minutes on. So when you're baking your pie later on, really make sure you pay attention to what the filling is doing. It should be bubbling all over, and what the color is. And if you're using a glass one, take a peek at the color on the bottom or on the side. It should be golden as well, not super pale and white. Scooch this in. Don't press your hand down because we don't want to stretch the dough. That'll make it more likely to shrink later on. So lift it up from the edge and push it down. Into a large bowl, we're adding 6 cups or 900 grams of beautiful fresh or frozen blueberries. Both will work, but if they're using frozen, make sure they're still frozen and not thawed. Okay, pop those in. For some zing, I'm adding about a tablespoon of lemon zest. This is an optional step, but it really gives you a ton of extra brightness and lift. And you're only taking off the colorful yellow part, not the pith. All the oil is in that yellow part. Tap that in. We're also gonna use some lemon juice, so cut your lemon and grab 3 tablespoons out. I'm gonna eyeball this. Grab a big spoon, and now we're gonna give this a good toss to distribute everything and get those blueberries nice and wet. It looks so pretty already. To sweeten things up, I'm adding 2/3 of a cup or 133 grams of granulated sugar. Sprinkle that over your blueberries. This blueberry pie will have the perfect silky consistency thanks to 5 tablespoons of cornstarch. By the way, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's 2 new recipes every single week, shorts and delicious things always along the way. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon is actually really nice in here, but it's optional. It kind of gives you a bit of a warming contrast to that zingy lemon. And to wake everything up, a pinch of salt. You really cannot taste sweet things if there is no salt. The salt helps you taste. Add a big pinch. Now we're gonna mix this one more time so everything is nicely coated and well distributed. It smells so good already. Really scrape the bottom of your bowl because all that lemon juice is gonna sink down, and you wanna get it coated on the blueberries so they're just totally covered in sugar and cornstarch. Back to our pie crust. You can see this is one of the easiest fillings you could make. There's no excuse to buy store-bought because this is easy and it's gonna be so much more delicious. Transfer your filling into your pie dish. This looks like a very proud mountain of blueberries, but the heat will humble it. So you're gonna scooch everything around and really fill those gaps in. You can feel free to press with the back of your spoon to kind of nudge things into place as well. Grab 2 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna dice it into small pieces, and that gets dotted onto the top. The butter will add extra richness. It'll give you a lovely mouthfeel. A little bit of fat really changes the way you taste things. That's why when you go to a restaurant, the saying is the chef begins and finishes with butter. It really makes everything better. Grab your butter and just dot the top all over with those pieces. Just try and get a nice distribution over the top. Set that aside, grab your second disc of pie dough, and we're gonna roll this out into a 12-inch circle and give it a cut. Once again, some flour goes a long way so things don't stick, and just keep it moving. Now it's time to cut your pie dough into about 1-inch thick strips. It could be any thickness you want, but just try to have a rhyme or reason to it. The first record we have of blueberry pie comes from 1872, which is not that long ago. and it looks like Northern European, Scandinavian people brought it over to this country. Set your strips aside and double check they did not stick. Grab your pie, and now we're gonna make an easy lattice. Just take the strips, and half of them go in one direction, with like a 1/2 inch gap in between. Lift alternating strips up halfway, and place them in the other direction. Lift the other ones, and repeat. All right, last 2 pieces go up. This one goes right here, and there we go. Trim your pie dough so there's only about 1 inch of overhang. I like to re-roll these scraps, by the way, and then brush them with a little bit of the extra egg wash and roll them in cinnamon sugar and bake them up. It's like my special treat for making a pie for everybody else. Now we're gonna fold this over so it has a beautiful edge. Tuck the excess underneath. This gives your pie some more strength too, so it doesn't fall apart as soon as you cut it. I rolled my pie dough a little bit thin on one of these quarters, so I'm tucking extra in so it won't fall apart. That's my hope. This looks pretty nice, but the edge is so loose, we want to strengthen it up and make it look more pretty. So crimp the edges just with your thumb and index finger and your other thumb. This will seal things together. Really try and glue it together with your fingers so it does not come undone. Okay, I have 2 teaspoons of water in this small bowl. I'm gonna add 1 egg, mix it up so it's really well combined. I don't want any weird globs of egg whites left over. And now we're gonna use a pastry brush and get everything really well coated with this egg wash. This is the glue for the sugar we're gonna sprinkle on top, and it's also gonna give us a golden, shiny finish that you just can't beat. The pie would look so sad without it. Finish it off with a sprinkle of sugar. Place this onto a rimmed baking sheet. Just in case anything bubbles over, this is your insurance plan. If your pie is taking on too much color, grab a big length of foil, fold it in half lengthwise, and you're gonna loosely cover the edge. It shouldn't be touching your pie, just really close to it, and it's a shield. The edge will not brown more. The center will take on more color. So I like to have this one all set up and ready before my pie goes into the oven. If I see it needs it, I can just plop it on really quickly. If you're baking this in a pre-made pie crust, go for 375 for about 50 minutes. Those pre-made crusts will burn at high temperatures because they're not made with butter. And if you're using frozen blueberries, you're gonna add 10 to 20 minutes of extra cook time on there. My pie is ready to go into the oven, 425 for 20 minutes, then reduce to 350 and bake an additional 35 to 45 minutes or until it is golden throughout. In you go. Give it a slice and it's ready to enjoy. Those light and zingy blueberries with a kiss of lemon and that flaky butter crust are a match made in heaven. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe, and if you like this video, hit that subscribe button and check out my pie playlist.